Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the River Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson. Today we got a packed show for you. And of course, before we get started, I got to shout out my brother, my co-host, William Young, who will be here in the studio soon, and who will be joining me, and who will be um, basically going over everything just like I will be. Also got some special guests that's coming up in here. Um, Belinda and Carlos, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So they'll be up in here today, and we'll get into it right after this. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that everybody's looking forward to the holidays, but not only the holidays, but the games as well. So we just want everybody to know this. All right. Well, we're gonna start it off today um, with the 12 o'clock game, and I'm gonna start that one off with I'm gonna say Green Bay actually went and did what Green Bay was going to do. They Green Bay. We definitely want to start in Detroit because I want to get on this Green Bay game, which was a good game between Green Bay and Detroit. The Lions came into the game expecting a celebration. You know, it's Thanksgiving and everything. I think it was expecting that he was going to make a good start or a good run. Um, and instead, Jordan Love turned the holiday into a rout. He had 4 touchdowns attacking the secondary deep, and Green Bay was in a full field and took their lunch money. Detroit looked sloppy, busted coverages, weird decision making, and bad protection. That's 2 straight weeks where their weakness showed up big. Packers are certainly right in the NFC North race. In Detroit, they got exposed on a national stage. Now, I'm going to get into that because I feel like this. Detroit getting Detroit getting exposed like they did by Green Bay. I think a lot of people didn't expect that. I thought they expected basically what a different outcome. You know, 31-24. It was a close game. It was a 7 point game. But my thing is, I feel like they could have put on a much better showing than what we seen. But the other thing is, I can say this for the Detroit and Packers game is Detroit is really missing their former OC. And I think with them missing their former OC, they're feeling it and they're feeling a lot of it. Um, and with that being said, I think that they are a team that a lot of us are they're a team that a lot of us thought that Detroit was going to just take the division and run with it. But I think with the Michael Parsons being on there and given the fact that with Micah, Detroit defense has showed up. And I think with that and Detroit defense showing out like they have, the Detroit Lions aren't the team that we thought that they were. Okay, we kind of we kind of felt like, hey, this team was going to be on a totally different trajectory, which means that they was going up. And now it seems like that Detroit is fighting for their lives to get in or fighting to stay where they are, where they need to be when it comes to the playoffs. Um, I think Detroit will probably be on the outside looking in because of the fact the way that Chicago is is going now and the way that Chicago is handling it. I think um I think Detroit, like I said, is missing both coordinators. And I think Detroit missing both coordinators and not being able to overcome that, I think that is hurting the Detroit Lions. And that's why I think Detroit is not going to make it into the playoffs. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to get on Green Bay. You know, people talk about Green Bay. They were saying how Green Bay wasn't able to do what they're capable of doing, um, that they're doing now. And I think that being said, I think Green Bay now has made a point of saying, hey, don't count us out. And I think that's going to hurt them. I think that's going to hurt Chicago when that time comes. Um, I do think that I do think that Green Bay is going to make a move. Green Bay is going to make a run, and they're going to make a strong run. I also think that Michael Parsons, from what I can see, made a lot of a difference in that game. Um, he brought the defense together. He made that defensive line look good. He also made that secondary look good and much better. And you could see it with Jordan Love, through his 4 touchdowns, and they knew how to attack the secondary. I got somebody in the chat that was asking a question saying, can Detroit, can Green Bay sustain what they're doing with the running game? And that's a great question. That's a really great question, Rob. So I'm going to say this, Rob. If they can sustain what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball and can short the field, I think that they're going to go deep in the playoffs. And I think that they're going to make the noise that a lot of us don't think that they're going to make. Um, I do also feel that they are going to be trouble to whoever they have to play in the first round when it comes to that. Do I think that they're going to win that division? Possibly. Do I think they're going to be the number one seed? Possibly. You know, I think I trust them before I trust the Eagles. I do see the Eagles having that collapse that they have. They have been exposed. So everybody knows now how to beat the Eagles. You run on them and you take that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hand and control the game like Chicago did, yesterday. Um, I think with that being said, it's a game of, I'm not going to say inches, but a game of miles. I also think that, given the fact that given the fact that the way that they're playing and everything, that their biggest downfall is getting ready to hurt, and that's going to get me in. That's going to get me into game number two. It's That's going to get me into game number two, and with that, that's going to have it where that is going to be a totally interesting conversation and an interesting scenario coming into what we're looking at when it comes to the playoffs and when it comes to what's going to happen next. I do think with with the Eagles playing that the Eagles are, um, I do think with the way that Baltimore is playing, the way that Baltimore is playing, that it's going to be totally, your outcome isn't going to be what you expect. And I think that right there is what's going to change a lot because of that. I think that the Eagles is going to get into panic mode. I think right now that's where they are. I think they're in panic mode, and I think they're in that mode of where they are going to start panicking and start saying, "Hey, is this the style of ball that we really want to play, especially going into the playoffs?" And like I said, the Eagles are going to be a team that now, after yesterday, nobody's going to fear. Um, and again, they put themselves in the trick bag. So to answer your question, Rob, I do think Green Bay is going to be that team to beat. I do think Green Bay has a chance to go deep into the playoffs. I'm waiting for my special guest to hop in and basically go back to the first game, the Packers and the Lions, and also the next game that I'm getting into, Chiefs and the Cowboys. Um, and I like to hear their input and their realization on what's going on. With what they think is going on with with the Eagles and what they think is going on with the Lions, especially Collins. I like to hear his version of everything that's going on. Um, and also waiting for Will to come on to see what he's going to say about his team when he gets up in here as well, because I think his input on everything is what's going to, let me know he is, where his team is, and where
the fact of saying, "Hey, I think the Ravens do this. I think the Ravens can do that." So it just depends. But like I said, I'm waiting for him to jump in here before we jump into the Ravens segment. But I want to jump into the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I'm going to jump into the Chiefs and the Cowboys, and we're going to do that after I take a quick 3 minute break.
Hello?
What? Oh,
What's going on? Hello?
yeah, hold on. All right, we back. We back. We back. We ready to jump to our second segment. But when Will was out, we couldn't. I couldn't get him. I couldn't get him in time.
Okay.
So Will, I just
How you
got
doing?
off talking about the Packers and the Lions, and I'm going to recap it and regroup it. And we also got special guests in the house, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, Carlos and Belinda. But Will, I'm gonna go back to basically the way that I started. Um, the Lions came into this game expecting a celebration, and instead,
Okay.
Jordan Love turned the holiday into a robbery. 4 touchdowns, attacking the secondary deep, and Green Bay walked in full field and took their lunch money. Detroit looked sloppy, busted coverage, weird decision making, bad protection, and that's the second straight week where their weakness showed up big. Packers are suddenly right back in the NFC North race. In Detroit, they got exposed on the national stage. Do you agree with all of that? And what is your take on it?
Detroit is who I thought they were, or who I think they are. They're front run. They're not that team. They have their defense is not that good. That's why their secondary is ranked last in the league. Their run defense is ranked 15. So and then the Jared Goff, he's a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback, and you can always push him off his spot and get him off his game with pressure up the middle. But that's I just think Detroit's going to fade in the end.
You know, I agree with you. I don't even think Detroit is going to make it, but I also feel like this. I think the weakness And I think what is going to expose Detroit is the fact that they lost their coordinator, and I think with them losing their coordinators,
They
that
fired him.
hurt, huh?
They fired the coordinator.
No, with them losing Ben Johnson and with them losing Aaron Glenn, I think that really hurts them this year. And you see the difference in this team. Do you agree?
I don't think it made too much of a difference whether it be Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson. Well, it made a difference with Ben Johnson, but with Aaron Glenn, the defense didn't make too much of a difference because the defense still ranked where they at.
Right,
Um, they just had a better offensive coordinator to call plays that cover up the defense's mistakes. I mean, the defense can they built to play with a lead, not from behind. When they got
right,
play
and I
from
agree.
behind, when they got play from behind, the defense is not all that great.
Right, and I agree. So I also want to get the input of our two guests on here and see what they say and what they think about that first game Thursday night before we jump into game two. What's y'all what is your take on the game from Thursday?
So
Can,
can you hear
can
me?
you hear me, Mike?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're good. Um, Thursday night Lions and Packers. I almost see the Lions being a repeated, no, not a repeated version, but a up-tempo version of the Eagles. And the reason why I say that, they are a good
Hmm.
competitive team, but as you and Will have stated, when you lose your coordinators that have built the team, and then you have gone to the Super Bowl, where you are projected to go to the Super Bowl, then you are owing to a more dominant season. You have a team that's being welded together. And for some reason, when they lost both of their coordinators, they went backwards. The Eagles, with the other night, they also, for some reason, they faltered. Can't figure that out. As far as Green Bay, I'm just a person that believes as long as it's city owned, they ain't drawing the money. They can't make the money unless they are televised and winning. So that's where I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not even gonna get into the coaching and to the players because the NFL is looking out for them. Now, uh, the games are just the players in the games that Detroit. I don't understand why these defensive backs cannot face the receivers, and they can get so many interceptions if they position themselves in the correct defensive position. That's one thing that's been bugging me for the last few years. That these guys are not. I don't like seeing pity pat defense.
Well, well, that has to go with the way that the rules are set up, and I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
that's
if they
the
look back, they're going to get the flag thrown on them, which to me is a crock of crap. So
right.
I do agree with you on that. They do need to
More,
change that.
especially that play. I hope I ain't getting my games mixed up, but I want to say it was the Green Bay game, and or was it the Cowboy game? I can't remember which game, but the receiver was running and they were playing pity pat with each other, and he still got called for a flag. But if he had just turned around and ran side by side, he would have intercepted the ball because the ball was not overthrown, but not leading the receiver to catch it. He threw it, he underthrew it. So those are little things that I've picked up on in most of the games, and it just makes it
Mm,
hard picking teams to win because nobody's really dominating the game.
mm-mm.
I I
Chiefs,
agree.
the Chiefs had their opportunity, but they
They
wouldn't
got
let.
outsmarted.
Yeah, and
That's
that's the game.
that's in
That's
that
the game
game.
that we get ready to jump into.
Can
Yeah,
I?
the coaches out coached that of the Chiefs team. That's the only way they won.
Yeah,
Can I say?
Well, that's the next game that we're gonna get into, which is the Chiefs. Now
Can I say something real
let's
quick?
go to. Go ahead.
Let me say this: the day that they start trending the games more towards the offense is when the defenses start suffering because the defenses are not allowed to do certain things anymore.
Correct.
You can't play defense like you used to play,
Yes.
and the players are not using the skills like they
Agreed.
used to use to get open.
Agreed.
That's what made Michael Irvin a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
T.O., Jerry Rice, all those receivers Hall of Famers because they were able to create space and get open without
Good.
help.
Yep.
And I
Right.
truly believe that since the league went more offense than defense, it handicapped the defense even more to this day. So the players who perfected that craft, who were able to play defense, I give hats off to them. But nowadays you can't touch a daggone offensive player. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're right.
As the
That's my
old
take.
Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker, I can't think of his name for the Steelers back in the day. He called. That's when he started calling the quarterbacks in the league. You allowing sissies to play the game, and I can't think of his name. The middle, Lambert for the Steelers.
Yeah.
But he said, and it's being trended like you said, Will. I didn't think of it in that manner of trending because of the rule changes. But overall, it still comes down to your coaching staff, your defensive back coaches. They're not teaching these guys the proper way to recover receivers and play their position. I saw a lot of plays in all three games where the defensive backs came up. You don't have a middle linebacker anymore. So now you're forcing the middle of the field to be open. And my wife and I were talking about Kelsey. And every time Mahomes got to throw, Kelsey's wide open in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you pull out players or positions to create a more offensive coordinated drive. They don't talk about the 2 minute drive no more, the bump and run. Like I
Mm-mm.
was saying, she asked, what was that? I said, well, you couldn't hit the receiver after 5 yards, but you
Hmm.
can't take them off their route. Will when certain players know how to get open. And if
Yes.
you're not involved in the play, you're not running your route. So therefore, you can't distract the other player on defense to block,
Hmm.
pull him out of the
Yeah.
play.
Yes.
Go on,
and
regular
Hey,
guy.
okay. Now let's go to Dallas. Mahomes versus Dak, and Dallas came out
Mhm.
firing. Dak was shot, 300 yards, distributed the ball perfectly, and the Cowboys' offense finally looked dangerous again. Meanwhile, Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns, but the Chiefs were sloppy. Penalties,
yeah,
drop balls, blown plays. They kept shooting themselves in the foot. KC is still dangerous, but this year you don't trust them the same way. Getting into that, okay? KC, one point that was made, and what I just read was the penalty. If you have over 100 and some odd penalty yards, you're not going to win the game. You're not. That's a lot of yardage to try to make up in a game, especially in the half or especially in the quarter. It's hard.
Who called that
So
game yesterday?
you called that game yesterday.
Who was the referees in that game?
Um, well, it's
What,
not even the
what,
rest. It's the fact that they were playing in Dallas.
no,
Okay,
who? But was it Ron? Was it Ron Tolbert who was refereeing
I
the
think
game
it was
yesterday?
Ron Tobler.
And you know where he normally refs at, right?
Yeah, I know Kansas City.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
but still, like I said, over 100 plus penalty yards is what killed them. A lot of the drop and a lot of the blown plays. So really, if Casey would have cleaned that up, they would have beat Dallas. Now I do have a
uh,
Dallas fan on
One
here,
thing I saw,
and I want
what
to
Mike,
hear her input on that.
we just kicked their butt. That's all. Don't even come up with any excuses. Just like we're gonna kick the commander's butt.
um,
Oh Lord, Lord, Lord,
Let
Lord.
only
me
the
throw let me
only
this. Let me throw a wrench in this one. What I saw, Mike and Will, I saw the Chiefs playing the same game pattern, the same way the Cowboys played the week before. They
Mhm.
just wasn't on point. They didn't get up for the game. They came out making it look like they were going to play, but then they fizzled.
What
And
they
Mhm.
no, here's what I'm saying.
oh,
Because when you win a game and you play hard through a game and through the season, you already got your routine down. You know what plays are going to work. Andy
Mhm.
Reid not call any here, but they weren't the Chiefs of previous years, and we can all go into scenarios about that. But I saw similarities when Dallas was that a Monday night game?
right.
How they came out and they were a little flat, but they still won, but they didn't put a lot together. It was just like
Mhm.
let's try to get everybody coordinated, get them in, but not try to go out and really win. So
Mhm.
sometimes you can play up to your competitor, and sometimes you can play it down. But I didn't see this. I saw the same similar game plan from both teams opposite weeks.
Mhm.
Okay, I
I tell
like
you
that.
one thing. I say it like this: Dallas did what other teams could not do, which was expose the Chiefs secondary and run the ball. They played to win the
Well,
game. They played to win the game yesterday. I give them that.
they actually did, but I'm
But
also going to get into something on that, which is Dallas did something that basically no other team could have done this year, and that is they beat both Super Bowl teams. They beat the Eagles and they beat the Chiefs, and they exposed both of them. And I think that's probably the reason why. Which I'm gonna get into that next game. Is probably the reason why. Well, that's gonna be down. I'm gonna get into the third game after this, which is probably the reason why they beat.
let me
They
give
got
you
exposed yesterday.
let me give you a fun fact here about Dallas. It's gonna be very fun. Um, what's this?
It ain't
So
fun if it's Dallas.
no, it's fun. It's fun. You can call me Stephen A. Brother here. Okay, I see.
Oh
Dallas
Lord.
Dallas is good. September, October, November, but
I know where you go.
we still haven't gotten into December and January. Dak plays good in October. He plays good in November. He has the highest winning percentage in October and November, but come December, he starts to plateau.
That
But then
is true.
when it comes to January, he just take a no. I mean, a complete nosedive.
Well, when it
Uh,
comes to January, they out the playoffs, so that
yeah,
tells you right there. So
but
he
they may get let me hold on. I'm doing my best to do that impression. They may get in the playoff. They just may get in. Maybe just one and done, ladies and gentlemen. One and done.
that's that's
Just
that's
hold
if
on
they
to
make
that.
it that far.
No,
But
but
here's a scenario for you to add to that, Will, is
uh
that also Dallas's games are outdoor games when they're on travel. They are not a good team playing in the northern tier of the states when they have to play the northern team and when they have to play away. They're just not a good road team like they are at home. And I think
no.
overall, when you look at team statistics with all of them, the whole draw is to keep your season ticket holders.
Uh,
Okay, the fans spend their money, come to the game. All right, well that's a given. But they're not an outdoor team, and it's just like certain games earlier in the season for teams that might be playoff contenders,
mhm.
but they are a southern team or a western team. So when it really counts, you got to come north, and they
Mhm.
know you can play in the cold weather.
And nobody playing the cold weather.
Well,
All
no, you
right,
have Buffalo,
so
New England, the
Except for the
cold weather
cold weather
team.
teams.
They're
Yes.
used to
so
it.
Yeah.
So Will, you done start blowing the chats up. Oh man, hold on. So we got from Future Revenue, and we know who that is. That's that's my brother-in-law. That's Gene. So he said basically, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yes.
Okay. He said, and another fact who has been the furthest in the last 3 years between Dallas and the Commanders. That's a shot at you, B.
Yeah, we gonna kick their butt.
Keep
he
hope
said
alive, as
he
Jesse
said
Jackson said.
the Commanders been further.
And speaking on
He in the chat, he in the chat giving it to y'all.
speaking on the Commanders.
Hold on,
mm,
hold on. We got it. We got it. We're going to get into that.
Waste
I
time
got
on
to
the
get into the third
Commanders.
game. She left out. I got to get into the third game. In the third
mm,
game, this one shocked
it's
me. Well, it didn't shock me. This one shocked the world. Joe Burrow came back from a toe injury and looked like he never left. 261 yards, 2 touchdowns.
ooh,
His
yeah.
lights
I
out
tell yeah
performance.
that
Jamar
that
Chase,
there.
hold on. Jamar Chase once again cooked Baltimore and broke the NFL record for the most receiving yards per game versus a single team. And the
He
Ravens
averaged
turned it over.
120,
Yeah, and the Ravens turned it over 5 times.
3 on
Game
Lamar, 2 on
right. Game over
yeah.
immediately. The entire AFC North opens right back up.
No, it doesn't. It does not. I don't think it
Why
does.
doesn't it? Why does it? You was the same one. Remember, and me and you, and this is where we're going to get into it right here at. Okay, I'm the
Okay, let's
one that
have it
said
out.
I'm the one that said that one the Bengals were going to beat the Ravens. You know I said that. Okay, that's one, and I said the
Mhm.
reason why is Joe Burrow's back. Joey B's
It was.
back.
It wasn't because it wasn't like I said. It wasn't because of Joe Burrow being back. Joe Burrow can be back all day long if he want to. Let's talk about. Let's talk. Let's talk about the old line. The old line.
Do you really want to go there?
I
Do
don't
you really,
care.
do you really want to
Listen,
go there? Okay,
let's
go ahead.
go. Let's go there. Let's go there.
Hold up, fellas. Let me say this right quick. Joe, look like Mike. I said earlier. I said I would like for. I know Cincinnati is going to play better, and it would be an upset. But I have to go with the Ravens because they were at home. Give them the home field edge.
Hmm.
But the Cincinnati offensive line, the defense, they came to play. They wanted
Hmm.
to be uplifting whatever Joe Burrows has as a player, like Baker has with Tampa Bay. Those guys will play for him. So they came out and they played, which I think kind of surprised Baltimore because Baltimore, like Philly, something is going on where neither team can really just get out of their funk at the moment. They
Yeah.
get their own way. And then Jamar Chase, I think it was just because he had all those diamonds in his teeth.
Yeah.
He had to make it look good so he could promote that, get all these young black players to start.
Yeah. Diamonds in my teeth. Yeah.
Anyway,
Now, can I can I get into what I want to say about that game?
Go
And
ahead.
this might take a good 3 to 5 minutes on this segment, maybe longer. Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
first, we're going to jump into what you said your offensive line. Okay.
So
We,
let's talk about the pass to Dez Walker. Dez Walker.
now let's get into
So
what you started with first, the line.
that's a part of the line.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now,
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you say
um,
your thing.
let's point out 78, 77, and 66.
Okay.
They all been getting beat like they've been abused all their life up front.
Okay.
They
Okay.
they've been getting beat all game long. So my thing is Lamar Jackson is starting to experience what Joe Burrow has been experiencing in Cincinnati for a couple years with the O
Okay.
line.
Okay.
So Baltimore has to address their old line problems. They have a couple of issues they have to address with the O line. They have to address the running back problem with
Huh?
Derrick Henry. Yes, that
Okay,
has
go
to be
ahead.
addressed because
Go ahead.
everybody's learning how to play Derrick Henry. If you have to blitz Derrick Henry right off the cuss, you gotta beat him. You gotta blitz him. Cause if you're able to get in the backfield and hit them legs, he's done. He's done for. So you need
Okay.
somebody who. So you need somebody who's faster,
Okay.
who's a little bit more twitchier, who's able to get out the backfield, who's able. And you need. Okay, you drafted that boy Carson Vincent, and you drafted that boy Emory Jones. Why are you sticking with players who like to get beat by the bully all the time? So those are the issues. So the pass down the middle to Des Walker, if Stanley's not getting beat, that ball is completed. If if what's his name? Number 80 don't try to be a hero and leap
Likely.
likely and don't try to be a hero and just try to jump over a defender and hold to the ball. That's a touchdown at the 1 yard line. If they don't call that ticky tack call on Flowers, because that wasn't a push off, he just held the man off. Yeah, that wasn't a push off. That's another touchdown. The score is gonna be a little different than what it was. The game that would change the whole complexion of the game, in my opinion. But
Yes,
the O line has to be addressed, and Harbaugh is not addressing. What do Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh have in common? Answer that question.
They don't make the proper adjustments like they should.
They too loyal to the
That's
old
true.
veteran.
Well. That's every coach. Now,
No. Some coaches are willing to see the problem and they're willing to address it. They ain't gonna stay loyal to a person who's getting beat by
you
a
have to
bully
you have to stay loyal to the process that got you to be the winning team when you were winning.
for the
You
last
don't
3 years.
stay-
Though it's the same players.
you got to stick with that. If your coordinators and the people you're relying on to adjust at halftime or during the game, that's why Andy Reid has been so successful. They make adjustments as they go along. Certain coaches, like you say, well, they stick with their format, but it's not working. So
It's
you got to
not.
find why. But you get calls at certain times that break a team's momentum.
Hmm.
Therefore, that gets them out of their rhythm, and they can't get back into their rhythm. And as long as you can get in the player's head, the team's head,
Hmm.
you're gonna win that game once they do that. And that's
okay.
going back to certain calls that favored um, that favored the
But you,
Now,
but you know,
now,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
can I get my my pennies in?
As long as you talk about the Commanders,
Okay. So on that game, and you was talking about the offensive line, I'm going to jump on each part of what you said, and and you may like it, you may not. Okay, given the fact now the offensive line, you was talking about how the offensive line play. That goes to the guy that's in the booth, which is the play caller, which is the offensive coordinator. So now I'm getting ready to put my offensive coordinator hat on. I'm gonna put my defensive coordinator hat on, and I'm gonna put my overall head coach's hat on. Okay,
as long as I
so
don't
I'm getting
go to
ready to give
sleep,
you
man, go ahead.
I'm gonna give you all three at one time. Okay. Now
you
you ain't gonna go to sleep because you're gonna like what I'm gonna say. Okay. When you have a quarterback that is dynamic, like Lamar Jackson is, okay, you guys to move, and me and you have talked about this. You have to move the pocket to reestablish a new pocket. Okay. If you know you have that guy that runs that can run out of that pocket anytime, you have to move that pocket. If you don't move that pocket, guess what happens? he was going to get teed off on because then it's what you call rush lane integrity. They hold the rush lanes. They stay disciplined on every lane. Not only that, but they do something that you heard them talk a lot about this Thanksgiving on these games, leverage. They were getting out leverage on a lot of their plays. Why? Because of the fact they was not reestablishing a new pocket. Okay. Now, the other thing, the Derrick Henry thing, me and you has had this conversation. Derrick Henry should never have been on the team anyway. The boy Ali and the boy Mitchell should be your main two. Mitchell is your home run hitter. You can give him the ball at the 10-yard line, and he's going to take it to the house. Okay. Again, it goes to bad coaching and it goes to the head coach.
That's
Okay.
okay.
That's
Okay.
that's 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 that. The execution of likely, I don't know why he jumped, why he leaped, why he was trying to do whatever
I
it
don't
was
know.
he
That's
was
21
doing.
points off. That's 21 points off the board.
That's okay, but they still okay. 21 points off the board, which means the Bengals put up 32 points. So still, y'all would have still lost the game.
No,
But
no,
still,
that no, no,
still
that
hold,
would
hold,
that would change the complexion of the game.
hold. Let me finish. Okay. Now, there's Walker, everybody else. Me and you done had this conversation. I'm gonna continue to have this conversation, and I'm gonna keep it going until Baltimore finally gets their act right and they get it right. They have no receivers. Okay, they're depending on Zay Flowers, who's playing out of position. Zay Flowers is a natural
I don't know who
slot
that is.
receiver. And that's where he needs to be playing in the slot. He is not a number one. He is not a number two. He's a slot. That's where he needs to be playing at. The boy Dez Walker, he do need Tez Walker, whatever. He needs to get more time and more playing time
Yes,
with Lamar. If he gets more time and more playing time with Lamar, he
that's the
can
number one
establish
right there.
himself. He can establish himself as a true number one receiver, which means y'all could go out this offseason and get yourself a number two. But for the past 8 years, and I'm sure Carlos and Belinda is going to agree with me on this, the past 8 years, Baltimore has not put nothing around Lamar Jackson to make Lamar Jackson that quarterback to take him over the hump. Baltimore should have been to the Super Bowl. Baltimore should have been to the Super Bowl years ago
Long
with Lamar
time.
Jackson.
You're
Okay,
right.
Baltimore right now should be on their fourth Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson, but
Yep.
the organization, the upfront organization, has not. The organization has not addressed that for whatever reason. I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to put that out there. But
Put it out there.
they're adjusting for the fact they want Lamar to fail. They don't want Lamar there. When
That's
Ozzie
it.
Newsome drafted him and he jumped back in the first round to draft him, Harbaugh, that wasn't his guy. Harbaugh didn't want him. Ray Lewis doesn't want him. Okay. Now, she said put it out there, I put it out there. Okay.
Put
This
it
is the reason why he hasn't succeeded. Now, send him to the Rams. Lamar would have been had a Super Bowl. You send him to any other team other than the Ravens, they would have put talent around him to have him succeed. And that's the problem with the Ravens and their organization. Now, the defensive side of the ball. Okay.
Let me add to that, Mike. Let me add to what you're saying. The other main reason that they're definitely not going to talk about is because his mother outmaneuvered the lawyers for Baltimore in the NFL by making her son to accept him as a quarterback. See, when she won that case, they locked in on it and said, "Okay, you won
There
the
was a
case,
case against that.
Your
Super
son
Bowl.
not going
He's
anywhere.
not going to get that acknowledgement." That's the hidden fact that they don't want to come out, and you can tie it into Shakur coming out, Shador,
Sure.
and he would have destroyed the rookie record if he had went to a better team that had a quarterback coach.
She took him to court over that.
What you say?
Did she? You say she took him to court over him being a quarterback? I mean,
What I'm trying to say, Will, Lamar, when he came in the league, he had projected, he had bumped up the skills at that position. If you
uh-huh.
can remember back when Randall Cunningham came in, Cordell Stewart,
Hmm.
Pittsburgh. See, when they came into the league, You just had your basic pocket quarterback. That's the format they wanted to keep. But those two young men came into the league. Cordell, he could run and pass, and he was stopped.
Hmm.
Then you had Cunningham, who was elusive, and he could run and he was a very accurate passer. But
Right.
once again, you shadow the white quarterback. I hate to have to
Right.
go in that direction. Then you come around and you get um he's retired now for Carolina. Cam Newton.
Yes, ma'am.
And Cam comes in and he is your epitome of a solid quarterback that can run. You can't bring him down. You have to tackle him, and he was accurate and smart, and he knew the game. So when you see these players and Randall Cunningham, and they're trying to get a couple other players and Shador and them to get to that level, which they have the capabilities, but we're gonna have to bring it back. We can't have them overshadowing all the time. So if you're going to have that kind of player, and all they want to do is what we say, they just want to make sure they're making money. You have to look at the bottom line. So as long as I can ride you until I'm done with you, that's it. Look at Prescott. Prescott is okay, but till they got an offensive line, he got healthy. He's showing his ability. He's got the game locked in his head now. But that
Hmm.
don't mean they want to be winners with Prescott.
Okay.
You have Shador, who if he gets the right quarterback coach or coordinator, Cleveland is going to be a team to be reckoned with, especially if he can maintain and improve each game, get that experience next year, he'll be ready to go.
Okay, now
So
I'm
so
going back.
let me start. Let me start. So I'm just looking at something, right? And you say I'm going off of you, Mike, right now. You said that Lamar wasn't Harbaugh's guy, right?
Right, he wasn't.
So yeah, in the 2018 draft, you had Mike White, Mason Rudolph, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Sam Donald, Logan Woodside, Josh Rosen, Luke Falk, Tanner Lee, Danny Eating, and Alex McGough as the quarterbacks in the first round. Which guy do you think that he would have chosen if Harbaugh had to choose? I left
Harbaugh
Lamar
wasn't.
out.
Okay, now let's get back into that. Harbaugh wasn't going quarterback. Harbaugh was either going defense or offensive line or defensive line. He wasn't thinking quarterback. The only reason why that y'all wind up getting it is because Ozzie Newsome bucked the system, and Ozzie Newsome said, "No, this man is not a wide receiver. We're going to bring." Now he would have loved Lamar as a wide receiver, yes, but Ozzie Newsome, no, this man is not a wide receiver. We need somebody to back up Joe Flacco because Flacco's getting old. He backed up Flacco. Now, the thing that I said was because I watched Lamar coming out of Louisville, I said if Flacco gets hurt, that guy's going to touch the field. He's never going to get back. That's it. That's it for Flacco. Flacco's done, and that's what happened. Okay. Now, what it did was it pissed off people inside the organization. And remember, I told you when a head coach comes in and he has again, what Carlos said, you have a loyalty to a particular player, was their loyalty was to Flacco because Flacco was that guy that took them to the Super. Flacco took us to the Super Bowl. Flacco did this. Flacco did that. Okay, at that time, it was no thinking about Lamar. Lamar's supposed to have been on the bench. Lamar wasn't supposed to have played till now. Why do you think, and me and you always have this conversation, Will, why do you think Baltimore took five years to pay him? It took them his rookie deal coming to an end to pay them. And then a known fact is not only did it take them 5 years to pay him, but they used the deal that Washington was going to give Lamar to keep Lamar because of the Dan Snyder issue. Okay, so basically they didn't want him. The league said keep him there, use this contract, and go from there. Now he is in a contract year. Are they going to sit up here and this is going to bring me to the defense, okay? Are they going to sit up here and re-sign him and extend him? No. Now, my prime example that I'm talking about, and this is going to make Collis think about that and make Belinda think about that. Hamilton. Hamilton has 2 years left on his deal, and they renegotiated with him and extended his contract. 2 years left on the deal. So he's still on his rookie deal for the next 2 years until his contract extended. They could not do that to Lamar. Okay,
They're,
you got Nate Wiggins. You got Nate.
they're punishing Lamar. They're
You got
punishing Lamar because of his mother. Let's
hey
get it real.
You got to get
hey.
past that.
They're punishing Lamar because of his mother.
Okay, I'm trying, and this is the point I'm trying to make.
Go
And
ahead.
this is the point I'm trying to make, and this is the point that I've been making, and I've been telling Will the same thing. They do not want him in Baltimore. I keep
Yep.
telling you this. They do not want him there. Mark my words on this November 29th. Lamar will be a Ram, if not next year, the year after next. He will be playing for the Rams. He will be their starting quarterback, okay? Because not only is it he will be their starting quarterback because he's coming out of a smaller market, but they're going to do him the same way that they did Josh Allen. They're going to put a whole city, a big media market on his back and say, "Hey, go ahead and carry this." The only reason why he didn't carry it for this area is because, and my sister-in-law just said it, his mom. They do not want him in Baltimore. If he
Nope.
would have went to DC before Dan Snyder left, you would have seen him carrying a whole, the second biggest market in sports. But guess what? His mom got involved.
Yep.
And when she got involved, that did it right there. Now, going to y'all defense, and I told you this, y'all weakness is y'all secondary. Y'all secondary got cooked again. Why? They kept Hamilton up on the line. Zach Orr is not a good defensive coordinator. Zach Orr plays too much zone defense, or when he's supposed to play zone, he don't. He plays man. When he plays man, he should have played zone. That is the reason why I told you. I don't care if T. Higgins wasn't there. Mitchell Tinsley did what Mitchell Tinsley was going to do, and that is put a footprint on the game. Why? Because y'all kept playing Jamar Chase man to man, and he was killing y'all with the man being a cause.
But it also goes to what I told you about Zach Orr. I don't care if you got Chuck Pagano or Dean Pease or whoever's there showing him the way, showing him how to run it. He's gonna run it his way.
And he gets
He,
that from who?
I
Harbaugh.
mean, right?
Every coordinator has been with Harbaugh and that's left. The main thing that they say is this man has an ego problem.
And
He thinks
I'm just talking about Zach Orr on itself because it's like if
Zach
somebody
Orr
show,
has the same problem.
yeah,
His ego. He thinks, okay, I've been here. I can run this team. I can do this. I can do that. No, you can't. You do not
just
know
like
how to play defense. And that is going to be y'all Achilles heel. And that's why I said, y'all aren't going to win the division. Y'all aren't
you
going to
know
make the
what,
playoffs.
it's funny. It's funny. I would take Detroit's defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard here and pick Zach Orr there for the simple fact that Kelvin Shepard followed in the footsteps of Jim Schwartz,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but he's a better play caller than Orr.
Well, he knows
Defensive,
he knows how to move his guys around and get them in situations they can get in. But
right? But he's been an assistant for some years now, longer than Zach Orr, and has been a
the
part of every secondary defensive line or he's been across the board.
right, but Detroit problem, and this is the thing with Detroit,
It's athletes,
it's no, it's not
the
athletes.
players.
No, Detroit got exposed in the second round of the divisional finals last year against us. That three receiver to one side and the one receiver to the other side kills Detroit every time.
No,
Kills them.
Detroit,
And that's
it
what Green Bay, look at what Green Bay was running.
will
How you
kill
do
Detroit. Will kill Detroit is they draft players in the later rounds who were not that good of players in college.
it's called development. They
It's
develop
called,
right. They
but they're
develop
not,
right.
but they're
But
not
what
being
they
developed.
what
It's
they
called
don't do is
reputation and keeping your teams, what I want to say, what you're known for. Because until the league is ready for you to really make some money, get in the playoffs, and possibly compete for the Super Bowl, you're going to just be a relevant team. That's why, Will, going back to your statement earlier, you have some teams like a horse race. They jump out in front. Oh, they look
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's always been that way. San Diego's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get you enticed into, okay, because you're going to have certain players, but every team drafts players that fit their personnel and the staff and where they want to go. It's still coming back to marketing, drawing the money, and I'm gonna bring it back to what Jerry Jones said: staying irrelevant. You got the money, you can make your team relevant and go to the Super Bowl or at least participate in the playoffs.
And the owners are making money all at the same time.
Right. Hey,
All,
Carlos,
all,
I want to jump on something you said earlier about loyalty, right?
mm-hmm.
And when we talk about hardball, we talk about the Ravens organization. Now, I was saying about the offensive line. What was the loyalty when they let all five linemen go? The ones who made Lamar the MVP that year.
Yep.
What was the
You,
loyalty then? I mean, because
you,
you just drafted you just drafted Bozeman out of Alabama, a great left tackle, no guard, left guard. You just let go McCarry, who was a great right guard, who could have backed up, who could have served for another 2 years before that boy notebook came in. Like,
again, 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 again.
I'm just saying. I'm saying though, Mike.
I'm,
What I'm saying is like,
I'm getting ready to answer that question, but go ahead.
because what I'm saying is like, there were pieces there that they could have drafted to replace pieces, say putting in pieces that didn't fit. That they could have waited another 2 years before putting somebody who didn't belong. If they was going to let go of somebody, what's that boy, Rashad, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce it.
Birdsall. I know you're talking about.
They could let him walk instead of letting Bozeman walk.
Now, again, I'm going to answer that question for you. Lamar's mother.
Mm.
That's it.
It has nothing to do with Lamar.
Lamar, his loyalty, his loyalty is not to Lamar.
So you saying by them letting go of the offensive lineman, it was a trap for them to hurt Lamar's chances of doing anything else. And I
It
mean,
comes it comes down to
You said
finances
it. You said
and
it, not me.
budgeting for the team. It comes down to the players wanting to play for certain players, certain coaches. You got to broaden the whole
You said it,
picture.
not me.
There's a lot involved in that. It's just not like we were kids watching a sport that we played. Nobody said anything. You just went out and played.
mhm,
When the tap into that, and I'm just going to try to keep it current within the 10 years, Lamar comes in. He's the new face of the league. He's
mhm,
dynamic, all of that.
mhm,
Well, you get paid.
mhm,
But see, they locked down the financing in. You remember when the players had to take a cut in their salary, certain key players, and give back
yeah,
to. So you got to make room for certain players. And
mhm,
at the same time, you're still trying to keep people interested in your team. Come see, hit the Commanders last year. Jaden Daniel comes in.
He was looking good.
He was looking good. So everybody was
mhm,
on the bandwagon. But then y'all realized you needed some pieces.
Yep.
So you make deals. You get certain players from other teams that they're willing to sacrifice. I'm gonna go back to Carolina with McCaffrey. San Francisco made a move to trade him and then bring him back the following year. So you have to look at the dynamics of who's helping who, and they always send that player to another conference. So just broaden the viewpoint of it, and everything will fall in place.
okay, I get what you're saying. So okay,
And
but
on
to
that
let
note,
go five offensive linemen that could have been replaced. three other starters in 2
You
years.
you remember what I said, and then we're gonna jump into segment two. You remember what I said to you about the fact of the so-called fake hamstring injury. Okay. So he showed that if I go down, this is what's going to happen. If you notice, I keep sending it to you every week. He's limiting himself in practice. Why? He's trying to make it known, okay, y'all want to F around, y'all want to F around and find out. And that's what they're doing. They're finding out, okay? Again,
Yeah,
that's not Harbaugh's guy, okay? What should have opened your eyes, but it that should have opened your eyes, that opened my eyes and everybody else's eyes is you bring in Cooper Rush from Dallas on a 2-year deal. Why? Your plan was to go and do what happened. And they thought we can
it
go ahead and
backfired.
bring in a Cooper Rush, or we can go ahead and bring in a Stu Huntley, and we can still win games without Lamar, and we can make a point proving, and then we can make Lamar look like the villain when it's time for him to leave and say, oh, he chose to go somewhere else. He didn't want to be here, all this and all of that. But guess what?
I,
That plane backfired on them, so they had no choice but to go and beg for him to come back.
Until
I
they
got,
ready to replace
Until
him with
they ready
another
to
player.
there you go.
See,
Exactly.
and just like Jerry Jones did with Micah. You
so let me
gotta
ask you a
look
question.
Go ahead.
Um,
like Jerry Jones did with Micah.
yeah,
Yep.
Everybody knew that Micah was a player, but he's a small guy. He's gonna change the game of his quickness like Lawrence Taylor did. But Jerry Jones had two other players that were just as
As good.
good,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
got two players for the price of one that he would have had to pay
Michael.
Micah.
Mhm.
So when you look at the finance side, the
That's all they care
negotiating
about.
side, that's all they care about because the players are already going to be hungry. The younger ones anyway. Lamar
Yeah.
And
now he's got to more or less look out for his health because if he doesn't and he continues doing what he's doing, playing hurt,
Yes.
when he
Yes.
retires, his money is going right to the medical doctors, the medical
and
What?
field.
I'm gonna give you another example, Will, and then we're gonna go into segment two. All right. The other example was this: you had two wide receivers out there that could have made actually three that could have made a big difference for the Ravens. The Ravens never went after any of them. The first one, Debo. They could have brought Debo in, and he would have changed the
No,
game.
no, no,
Game
no, no,
and
no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Yes,
no,
he could have
no,
changed the
no,
game.
no,
He
no,
could have
no,
changed the game
no,
and made
no,
because
no,
right now,
no,
okay. So you saying Zay
no,
Flowers is
no,
better than
no,
Debo?
no,
Are
no.
you saying Zay Flowers are better? Are you telling me right now Zay Flowers is better than Debo? Before you answer that question, look up Zay Flowers touchdowns
Can,
and look at
no,
Debo's.
I
Debo
don't
got
have to.
seven right
I
now.
don't have to. I don't
Debo
have to
got
do.
7 right now.
I don't have to. I don't have to. I don't have to do none of that.
Okay. The other
The
thing,
best. The best. What's that saying?
the
Is
best one,
you,
the best
availability.
available.
The best availability. Debo has not been. It's like what I told you before.
Debo
Y'all
only missed
even
now, now, now,
no. It's
now,
like
now,
listen.
now, now,
It's
now
like,
you're going to eat
oh man.
crow because Debo only missed one game.
Well, listen. This is for y'all, right? One game for y'all, right?
Right.
Okay. So going back to Debo's history,
Okay.
Debo has missed multiple. First 2 years in San Francisco, he has not missed no games. The last couple years, he has missed games in San Francisco because of his injury prone. He's injury prone.
As they say on ESPN, there's no such thing as injury prone. You're
But
not
he
injury
has
prone.
he has been.